Hello everyone, this is Ambika Bhargav from Dr. MPS World School. We are again here to study further about the sectors of Indian economy part 2. In this video, we are going to cover the comparing of the three sectors that we have already studied in our previous video. If you have not gone through the previous video, kindly go through the previous video. So in this video, we will cover the topic that is comparing the three sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary sector, and we will know how do we count the various goods and services and how to know the total production in each sectors. Again, the tertiary sector, the primary and the secondary. So let's begin. So let us start with the examples, few examples which shows how these sectors are interdependent, right? So imagine what would happen if the farmer refused to sell the sugarcane to the particular sugar mill. The mill will shut down, right? Sugarcane is the example of secondary sector. So this this industrial sector being dependent on the primary to get the manufacturing, or the mill will be shut down if the farmer refused to sell the sugarcane to the secondary sector. So here the secondary sector, that is sugarcane mill is depended on the primary sector, that is the farmer, the production of the sugarcane, right? Coming to the next example, again we will examine like what would happen to the cotton cultivation if the companies decided to buy from the Indian market, decided not to buy from the Indian market and import all the cotton the needs from the other countries. Indian cotton cultivation will become less profitable, and the farmers may even go bankrupt as nobody will be there to buy their products. And if they cannot quickly switch to the other crops, cotton price will fall. We'll write here the cotton price will fall, right? So cotton price will definitely going to fall. So in the previous video, we have understood the interdependency of each sector, how secondary sector is dependent on the primary one and the primary dependent on the secondary one. In this slide, we will study how do we count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector, that is the primary sector, tertiary secondary sector and the tertiary sector. So let us here it will be very difficult for us, and if you would think like how we will count all the goods and services which are produced, you might think that it is impossible task to count all the goods and services. Yes. So to get around this problem, economics suggested that the value of goods and services should be used rather than adding up the actual number. So we will not count the actual number. So for example, if 10,000 kg of wheat is sold at the rupees 8 per kg, the value of the wheat will be 80,000. The value of 5,000 coconut at rupees 10 per coconut, it will be 50,000. It will be 50,000 and 80,000. Similarly, the value of goods and services in the three sectors are calculated and then added up. So we have to remember and take the precaution that every goods and services that is produced and sold needs to be counted. It makes sense only to include the final goods. So whatever being produced, we will count the final goods and services. For example, a farmer who sell wheat to the wheat and sell the flour to a biscuit company at the rupees of 10 per kg. The biscuit company uses the flour and things such as sugar, oil, and to make the 4 packets of sugar. It sells the biscuit in the market to the consumer at rupees 15 per packet. So the biscuits are the final product. So with wheat, which comes under the primary sector, grinding process and the process of manufacturing comes under the secondary sector, which we get from the primary sector. The manufacturing of the biscuits come under the secondary sector. And from where we get this biscuit packet? From the shopkeeper. So this shopkeepers come under the tertiary sector, right? So what we will count? We will count the final biscuit, final product. What is the final product? That is biscuits. So the question arises, why only the final goods and services counted? Na? Can anyone give me the answer? The reason is, this final goods and services such as wheat and wheat flour is the examples of intermediate goods. What we call them? We call them intermediate goods and services which is being provided to us to make this final product. The value of final goods already includes the value in the intermediate goods that is used in making the final good. We have already added up whatever you think, whatever you purchase. Do you think you will get you will have to pay the money for every single things? Like if you will buy a car, so you will pay a final good for the car, not for the engine separately, not for the tires separately. In the same way, these are the things which are already included in the final goods are the intermediate goods. Hence, we can say that that goods that are used in making the final goods are the intermediate goods, and that is 15 rupees. What would we get the cost of each packet? 15 rupees of that biscuit already includes the value of these intermediate goods. Flour, sugar, oil, and the manufacturing process, everything is included in this 15 rupees. Count the value of flour, wheat separately is therefore not correct, because then we would be counting the value of same thing again and again a number of times. First as wheat, then as flour, and finally as biscuits. So it will be incorrect. So I hope you all understood well why this intermediate goods are not included and how can we calculate all these things, right? With this we understand what is GDP. So let us revise once again. What is GDP? GDP is the final goods and services which is produced in each sector during the particular year is known as GDP. It is the value of all the final goods which is produced within the country, and this GDP shows how big the economy of the nation is. This GDP decides the economy of the nation. Question arises, who is responsible for measuring this GDP? How we can calculate, we have studied, but who is responsible? Who will take the responsibility of counting this GDP? So GDP decides, and we have already studied the GDP is why it is important. We have already studied why it is important to calculate, as it decides, it shows how big the country is, how big the economy of the nation is. So better the GDP, if the GDP rises, definitely if the GDP rises, economic country of the country will definitely rise. In India, the task of measuring GDP is undertaken by the central government. Ministry. This ministry, with the help of various government departments of all the Indian states and the union territories, collects information relating to total volume of goods and services and their prices, and then estimate the GDP. Clearly about this. So today's assignment is to write the answers in your comment box. The distribution of services, training and support includes in which sector? Write the name of the sector. Second question is, where are the most of the underemployed people found? And the last but not the least is, what is a non-economic activity? Write the answers in your comment box.